Good morning, friends. All right, why don't we get into singing our good morning song? The sun is shining, good morning, and we're all smiling, good morning to everyone. Hooray, hooray, have a good day. Excellent. Why don't we jump into some ABCs? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Why don't we do You Are My Sunshine, because I am hoping for some sunshine today. I don't know if we're going to get it. It's pretty gray out. But let's see if we can bring it on. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Awesome. All right. I wanted to update you guys about our flowers that we have been working on. So if you remember last week, we had some white flowers and we took some water, put some blue food coloring in it, and snipped the ends off the flowers and stuck them in the water with the food coloring. And this was to see how the plants absorb the water up the stem. What happens to the petals? Where does the water go once it goes up the stem? Let's see what happened to our flowers. Can you guys see that? Oh, it's not showing up very well on camera. I'm gonna see if I can take a picture and email it to you guys later. Let's see if I can hold this down. You can see. See how the blue is starting to come through on the flowers? Yeah. You can see it better on some than others. Camera's not really doing it justice. But there's some bits with really bright blue near the tips because that's where it went to first, the edges of the flower petal. We're gonna leave it for a few more days and see if they get darker. All right, something I wanted to talk to you guys about that we are moving into from our study of plants. It's kind of like a natural extension of our study of plants and nature and our environment is recycling. So we recycle in our classroom. We recycle paper, we recycle plastic, aluminum, if it's clean. With our lunch trays, we rinse them out, we put those in the recycling. And there are other things that we don't really have in our classroom that you could recycle too, like glass and unbroken glass and tin cans, metal, things like that. So, do you guys know the symbol for recycling? We see it on plastic sometimes. It's usually on recycling bins, sort of posted on the side. But this is my drawing of what it looks like. So it is 3 arrows pointing around, going in an endless looping circle. That's because the more we recycle, we're turning something into something new, right? So if you recycle something like a plastic bottle, that can be put through the recycling process to be turned into any number of other things. It's really cool what they can make out of recycled plastic now. They can make fabric, they can make toys, toothbrushes, all sorts of stuff can be made from recycled materials. If you put something in the trash can as opposed to the recycling bin and it is recyclable, it's just going to go to a landfill where it's just going to sit and depending on what it is, not really break down on its own. So we're going to talk about over our study together, what can we recycle? What kind of impact it has on our environment, on ourselves, on the money that we have and our families have, the ways that we can help our communities by recycling. We're going to talk about, the kind of 3 pillars of that, the 3 important points, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle, right? I'm sure you've heard that before. If you've been with us since last spring, you've definitely heard that before. So what those mean are to reduce means to lessen, to make smaller the amount of waste we are creating, to make smaller the amount of trash we're making and the things that we're throwing away. To reuse means to reuse an item, to have a piece of clothing that you don't wear anymore and hand it down to somebody else so that they can wear it. That's reusing. And recycling means to turn something that would have been waste, like an empty plastic bottle, into something new and usable. And we're going to be talking about different examples of this. And we're going to examine how it's actually done. Because it doesn't just magically happen. You don't put it in the bin and then it magically comes out of the bin as something else. It has to go to a recycling center. And it's really neat the way that it works. And we are going to try a project that hopefully we will be doing together, but if not, I'll give very explicit, easy instructions on how to make our own paper. All right, my friends. So that is sort of a quick beginning primer on what we're going to be doing over the course of our study. So the things we're focusing on are reduce, reuse, recycle. So why don't we see if we can find this symbol on some things today. Take a look around your house. Take a look at the things that might go in the trash. Or the things, if you have a recycling bin at home that you put in the recycling, see if you can find that symbol on things. All right, we're gonna read a story. It has a sticker on it on the front, but it's called Amazing Grace by Mary Hoffman. Okay. Oh. You guys see? Grace was a girl who loved stories. She didn't mind if they were read to her or told to her or made up in her own head. She didn't care if they were in books or movies or out of Nana's long memory. Grace just loved stories. After she heard them, and sometimes while they were still going on, Grace would act them out, and she always gave herself the most exciting part. Grace went into battle as Joan of Arc and wove a wicked web as Nancy the spider. She hid inside the wooden horse at the gates of Troy. She went exploring for lost kingdoms. She sailed with the 7 seas with a peg leg and a parrot. She was Hiawatha sitting by the shining big sea water, and Mowgli in the backyard jungle. Most of all, Grace loved to act out adventure stories and fairy tales. When there was no one else around, Grace played all the parts herself. She set out to seek her fortune with no companion but her trusty cat, and found a city with streets paved in gold. Or she was Aladdin rubbing his magic lamp to make the genie appear. Sometimes she could get Ma and Nana to join in when they weren't too busy. Then she was Dr. Grace, and their lives were in her hands. One day, Grace's teacher said they would do the play Peter Pan. Grace knew who she wanted to be. When she raised her hand, Raj said, "You can't be Peter, that's a boy's name." But Grace kept her hand up. "You can't be Peter Pan," whispered Natalie. "He isn't black." But Grace kept her hand up. "All right," said the teacher, "lots of you want to be Peter Pan, so we'll have auditions next week to choose parts." She gave them words to learn. When Grace got home, she seemed sad. "What's the matter?" asked Ma. "Raj said I can't be Peter Pan because I'm a girl." "That just shows what Raj knows," said Ma. A girl can be Peter Pan if she wants to. Grace cheered up. Then later she remembered something else. Natalie said I can't be Peter Pan because I'm black, she said. Ma looked angry. But before she could speak, Nana said, it seems that Natalie is another one who don't know nothing. You can be anything you want, Grace, if you put your mind to it. On Saturday, Nana told Grace they were going out. In the afternoon, they caught a bus and train into town. Nana took Grace to a grand theater. The sign outside read Rosalie Wilkins in Romeo and Juliet in sparkling lights. Are we going to the ballet, Nana? Asked Grace. We are, honey, but first I want you to look at this picture. Grace looked up and saw a beautiful young ballerina in a tutu. Above the dancer it said, Stunning New Juliet. That one is little Rosalie from back home in Trinidad, said Nana. Her granny and me, we grew up together on the island. She's always asking me do I want tickets to see her Rosalie dance, so this time I said yes. After the ballet, Grace played the part of Juliet, dancing around her room in an imaginary tutu. I can be anything I want, she thought. On Monday, when the class met for auditions to choose who was best for each part, when it was Grace's turn to be Peter, she knew exactly what to do and all the words to say. She had been Peter Pan all weekend. She took a deep breath and imagined herself flying. When it came time to vote, the class chose Raj to be Captain Hook and Natalie to be Wendy. There was no doubt who would be Peter Pan. Everyone voted for Grace. You were fantastic, whispered Natalie. The end. All right, my friends. What did you think of that? That was a really great story, right? It's one of my favorites. All right, I'll see you guys later for another chapter book.